Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Swinging Bull and Mr. Stocklock Profits. How you doing today, sir? Happy
What's up?
Friday.
What's up, man? Good afternoon on this glorious Friday. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Zach Lizard in the Discord chat. He's the first one to the party. Let's go. We got Maestro here. We got some viewers on YouTube as well. Hope everyone's having a fantastic week. It's Friday. Happy Friday. We're ready to get into the weekend to have some time off, like mental health break. That's what we need as traders. We got to have a mental health break in some form or fashion, even if it's just, one day a week. Just you got to take one day a week to kind of decompress and recharge the batteries. Tell me that's not true, Lee.
Come on. It is true. It is true. I feel like my batteries need to be zapped. I need to be charged up and ready to go for next week.
Yeah, you got to recharge those Duracells, right? For Monday.
Absolutely. I got that extra max Duracell batteries, so they lasted a little bit longer this week.
That's right. Or maybe it's the Energizer Bunny, right? It keeps going.
Yeah, Energizer Bunny. That's
keep in mind we got a bunch of crypto traders out there. So, the people that trade stocks and crypto,
they don't sleep.
It's 7 days a week for these people,
They don't sleep, bro.
You got to figure out how to carve some time out, for yourself and your family.
That's why I have to pick one or the other. Like it's either I'm a stock trader or I'm a crypto trader. But if I'm both, I probably won't have a life. I won't have a family. I won't have kids. I won't have a wife. I just be stuck on the computer.
There's another way to do it, okay? And it's kind of what I do. Lee, you know me mainly a stock and option trader, but I do have a pretty good sized crypto account, as you know. And but what I do is I'm not day trading the crypto on the weekends, okay? And that's what we were talking about, like some of these traders that trade stock and options and crypto at the same time, and they're trying to day trade it all, and it's a bit much. It can get very overwhelming. But what I do, I mainly trade stock and options, but I do have a great crypto portfolio and basically I'm in the accumulation phase.
Are you? Yeah, that's nice.
And so I'm not really day trading it, but I'm accumulating some Bitcoin and some Ethereum, some ADA, some of these cryptos that I think have a bright future, and just like slowly adding every month to the position. So it's kind of like a hands-off deal there. And the beauty is the profits that I get from the stocks and options trading. I'll take a percentage of those profits and then I'll buy some Bitcoin and Ethereum. So kind of just building a long-term portfolio in crypto. I plan on
Which one do you like? Which one do you like the most? Like which one?
The two big ones. I mean, let's be real. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm slowly stacking, those, and then any crypto that has utility behind it. Is there a purpose, a utility behind this crypto that is actually getting used on the blockchain for a use? Those are the ones I'm attracted to. Not so much, the meme coins and stuff like that. A lot of these things, they don't really have back end uses for them or utilities. Those can be a little dangerous. Now, those cryptos have made a lot of millionaires, if you bought at the right time. But we've also seen a lot of rug pulls on them as well. So just need to be careful there. But let's go ahead and just dive right in. It's about 3:20 p.m.
Yeah, what's going on out there?
No, I was looking at the some of the sector information. This is for today. So we had utilities and consumer staple leading the pack. And I want to point something out to everybody. Okay, and I'll just go to my Webull chart here. We're going to be looking at SPY on my bottom chart here. Currently got the 15-minute chart pulled up. Obviously, it's been a sell-off day. Okay, let's just be real. It's been a sell-off day. What's very interesting is a lot of money was going into consumer staples and utilities. And these are kind of sectors that we consider risk off, okay? And what that means is when the market's selling off, like SPY, which is the ETF that follows S&P 500, when SPY was selling off today, it kind of goes hand in hand. That means, hedge funds, institutions, what have you, big money, they're kind of selling off, some of the equity here, some of the risk on stuff. But as you can see from the sector information, money was piling into the risk off stuff, and that's kind of what we see when you see the overall market selling off. A lot of times we'll see some of the safer sectors gaining some traction here. So it was kind of interesting to see kind of the switch off of where the money was going for today. If we look for, let's just do a 5-day look here. And by the way, for everyone watching on YouTube and Discord, this is free information, you guys. You can see right here, I'm not even logged in. Okay, this is just free information. It's barchart.com. Lots of great free stuff. I'm all about getting free stuff and not having to pay for it. But it's just interesting to see how the price action of the market in general compared to what sectors are actually in the green or in the red. Kind of gives you a risk on, risk off kind of feeling there.
You see who sabotaged our stream right now? Whoa, look at that.
Okay, we got Patrick in the house. Let's go.
What's going on? What's up, guys?
Hey, bro. What's up?
Oh, yeah.
You get ready for the weekend with those stripper lights?
God, do I need it? Absolutely. You coming over? I got you some new pumps.
Yeah. Instead of those pumps in the club. Let's go.
I just wanted to mention a couple things on what happened in SPY today.
What's going on?
We're on the 5-minute chart here. And basically, I got a couple indicators that are some of my favorites as far as reading market internals. And the first one is the vol ratio or the vol D ratio. And what this measures is it's a comparison between the volume on advancing stocks compared to the volume on declining stocks. So it's a real neat market internal that I like to use. I like to check it, within the first hour of the day, kind of see how it's doing. So basically how we read this indicator is right now we're at negative 2.29 to 1. That's the ratio. So how we look at this is anything in the negative is obviously telling us that the declining stocks are getting more volume. Okay, obviously selling volume, right? So anything in the negative on this indicator, it does kind of give us a bearish signal there. Now, if we kind of go back in time here and we go to what happened last Friday, you could see this vol D ratio well into the positive. As you can see, I'm just going to the right side here. Don't disregard today's ratio, but you can see the ratio from last Friday was 7.5. That tells us the volume on the advancing stocks had us over a 7-to-1 ratio on the declining stocks. What's that tell us? Very bullish for the day, right? And the vol D ratio was well above, was well above 6 right when the bell rang. That's kind of a little bit of an indicator right there that maybe we have a trending day on our hands, perhaps, right? And another thing I like to include is the ADD indicator. This is the advancers in decline indicator based on actual stocks, okay? So anytime I see the ADD indicator, like on this bullish day last Friday, this right at opening bell, within the first 5-10 minutes, we got the ADD already at almost plus 2,000. Okay, that's definitely bullish for me. Now, if you look at the bearish days, look at here's a good example here. We had a downtrend day. This was April 25th, so a couple of weeks ago. And very bearish day. We had the vol D ratio firing in the negatives right at market open. We had the advancers and decliners indicator very negative there. So sometimes within the first hour, we can maybe determine if this is going to be a trending day or not, just by kind of doing some data collection within the first 30 minutes, hour of market open. Gives us a good indicator there. So just some neat little tips and tricks for any of the free members.
Nice.
Anyone that might be watching on YouTube or in the free live stream. We're in the free section of the Discord right now. Just a couple little tips and tricks. And this is a Trading View platform, so you can get these indicators on Trading View. But just some treats to end the week on a happy Friday. Here's a little secret sauce for you guys. We go over so much more than this in the premium section on the Discord, and I'm always excited to kind of explain things to people on some of the things that we look at before.
What indicator do you use, Patrick? Is there an indicator that you like the most?
It's called Lee. I just wait for Lee to start.
Okay.
Start with.
You wait for me on that couch behind you, and that's kind
that's
of,
it.
that's
Yeah,
kind
you
of
just
a
jump
wrap.
back there. You do a little audition.
McJP says the Prime Patrick indicator. There we go.
Yeah. So
We gotta have Pookie create that for you.
This is a good indicator that you have on. Well, you don't have it on TradingView now, but it was a good indicator. But yeah, I mean, look at SPY where it hit the bottom today. Look at SPY 2 days ago, pretty much the same area that it bounced from 2 days ago. It's just a very choppy week. Let's be honest, very choppy, very tight, and and we just bounced off that support level again.
To be serious about your indicator, though, I don't always use like an indicator. I mean, I make no mistake of it. I mean, I rely on your guys' ability to read the charts a lot more than I do. But the one thing that I do well is I'm very attuned to current events and global sentiment and a lot of things. So I was able to do pretty well on some SPY plays this week based off of that. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people just kind of don't focus always on. What's happening out there in the world that's going to affect the SPY tomorrow. What catalyst is happening? Like the day that Wagner came out and said that they were going to be pulling out of Mariupol in Ukraine, that was bullish to me, because if that happens, then that's a it's going to lead to a public sentiment that the war in Ukraine might start pulling down a little bit, which will boost up the economy a little bit. And sure enough, on that day alone, we saw a really nice spike. Those are things that I like to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and those things are definitely catalysts. The news, things like with world news and stuff like that, definitely going to move the markets up or down if it's significant. Most world news that gets smeared throughout all the media usually does move the markets in some form or fashion. So interesting stuff there, and a lot of newer traders. I definitely think it's a good thing. Get acclimated with some of the popular indicators like the RSI. Lots of people use the RSI, help us determine oversold or overbought conditions, which basically means overvalued or undervalued conditions. So it could be a good telltale sign implementing the RSI with your trading. We have a lot of EMA traders that
I got a question for you guys for some news.
Sure.
Since it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Since sorry to cut you off with that. This is delaying my thing. Elon saying that he's going to step down as CEO as Twitter. How is that going to affect Tesla?
Well, it was bullish this morning. I was actually up pre-market, and the news broke yesterday. I think it was like last night or something.
Yesterday.
Yeah, let me zoom out here, and you can see it was like right before market close. Yeah, and you could tell when the insiders got the news before we did, because before the news actually broke on Webull and everything, we did see a pump on Tesla, and then people started accumulating Tesla in extended hours, and ended up going to 177, basically. From a close at 172, but before this initial pump, I mean, Tesla was at like 169.50. And then,
now, how is that going to play with the massive recall that's happening in China for Tesla?
See, that's the interesting thing. It's funny how all that played out. Because
is it funny, or is it all coordinated?
I'm sure it's coordinated. Okay,
it was coordinated. I'm sure.
But number one, Elon comes out and says, "Okay, I'm hiring a new CEO for Twitter. I'm going to have a lot more time to focus on Tesla now." And that's what the Tesla followers were excited about. That's what the investors of Tesla started piling into the stock right before, basically at the end of the day yesterday, and pumped it all the way to 177. But ultimately, there was more language that was in that news press, which means he is hiring a new CEO, but he's still going to be there to manage, like basically be the
he's going to step down to another role.
Mismanage.
Yeah. So what do we see today on Tesla? Well, it's basically the sell the news deal, right? So what happened was the news broke. People are excited. Elon's going to be more present at Tesla from moving forward, and then basically it was the sell the news scenario today when after market open, and it literally retraced less than yesterday. Okay, so it's down here at the lows from yesterday. Lower than when the news broke and the initial pump occurred. So completely 100% retracement there. So to answer your question, I think it had that news breaking about Elon getting a new CEO involved in Twitter. I think it had an immediate effect on the stock, which was shown right here in the price action, but I don't think it held a lot of weight comparatively speaking, especially looking at the chart as it did a 100% retracement today. So I think it was sell the news deal. That's what happened today.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I mean, it's going to be a female CEO, right, from NBC Universe. She's an executive with deep ties to advertising industry. So she's coming in as the new CEO of Twitter.
Yeah, and then it gets followed up with their recalling all these vehicles.
Yeah, which is not that big of a news. So many car manufacturers have recalls. I think that was, like you say, orchestrated. I mean, it was a pump and dump kind of scheme.
It seemed overnight. A little planned out to me.
Yeah, it was a little planned out, but I mean, that was a hell of a sell-off just based on that recall news as well.
And it was, but I think what people need to remember is Tesla's almost like a blue chip meme stock, where like it doesn't always trade the way that anything else is going to trade.
That's a good way of looking at it. Blue chip meme stock.
Moving.
Blue chip meme stock. That we're gonna have to quote that because I love it.
Hey,
we got that pump. We got that pump in the like just before the end of the day. I think that MCJ over here said that he missed out on a little bit of more profit on Tesla calls, but I was no way gonna buy into that whole pump right there in the after hours. No way. You want to see how the reaction is tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah. Sorry.
Elon, whatever Elon touches is gold either way. But for Tesla, that's positive news that he's getting out of the CEO business of Twitter, and he's maybe more focused on Tesla now. And that's probably why investors were like, "Oh, positive news, let's start pumping it," and then got trapped.
Right.
Ultimately, trapped.
Yeah.
I mean, I played calls at the beginning of the day, and that little pump at the beginning of the day gave us 60% profit, which we got out of. But I should have went back and played puts, but I just kind of skipped over Tesla after it started dropping off a little bit. Played the calls, made some money, moved on.
That's fine for newer traders. I mean, especially for newer traders, I always say keep an eye on SPY and Tesla. Those are very tempting to jump into, but they can be tricky to trade properly. And ever since Elon's got with Twitter, I'm very hesitant to trade with what he says, because so much of his appeal was the allure that he put on himself about being some insanely savvy genius. And I think that he really, really, really fumbled the moves at Twitter, and it's hurt his reputation. So I'm like, he's such a memester right now. I don't really want to trade his stuff.
Just waiting on his next tweet, right? Everyone's waiting on his next tweet.
Was he involved in the Pepe crypto thing?
I don't know. I saw some stuff online. I don't know if it was photoshopped or what, but I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he's pushed Dogecoin and all that, so it wouldn't surprise me if he, was involved somehow.
Man, there's rug pulls on Doge. I remember when he was on SNL and Doge just surged up right until he did and right until his opening monologue, and it dumped off 30%.
Right.
Yeah, that's nasty, bro.
Yeah, it was ugly, and everybody should have expected it. It's Elon.
Yeah,
it was the whole hype behind it. But there, SPY, we got
we're at resistance right here. Yeah, it's right here.
It's a nice pump. It's a nice pump off that pretty much the double bottom from 2 days ago. Nice pump off that level.
Yep. I mean, overall, it's been a downtrend day. It can possibly break out of this downtrend, as you can see on my Thinkorswim chart here on the right. Been in a downtrend day. We got the trend line. We did get, it's basically descending wedge. We did get the break out of the wedge, but now we're at basically a resistance area, which is right around 410.70. Okay. So if we can break over that, start making some higher lows, that would be something. But it is Friday and it's 3:34
Or we play some puts
Eastern.
into the end of the day. That's it. If we get rejected hard here, then puts could be into the end of the day. But that's pretty strong volume coming in.
It's looking like it's going to push past, yeah. And also I got some other indicators down here that are kind of turning bullish here for me. Let's just go back.
And you know what? Traders, like you say, that descending wedge that you have, they put that on the chart. Okay, they may not play the downside, but they're waiting for the reversal. Yeah, they could be waiting all day long until something like this sets up, and then they made their big money at the end of the day. But they're very patient on waiting for the play to work out.
And I think it's important to identify what type of trader you are in that sense, though. A while ago had to realize that, hey, I'm not I'm not that trader. I don't trade very well on Fridays and at the last hour or the first hour of the market. So I just stay away. Some traders are like that. Like Bull is like that sometimes, where he just sits there and just patiently waits for his moment, and then he just
waiting to strike.
I literally was sitting there watching for Amazon to break down to then alert it and play into Amazon. Like sometimes you sit there and you just watch the candles, and then you wait for the big rejection at resistance, and then you play down into that, and you just have to be very patient. It's like you're sniping a play, you know what I'm saying? And you have to be a little bit patient. And also, if it breaks the resistance, you play the upside. So I sit there and just stare sometimes and just wait, like I'm just waiting for that red candle to happen.
Well, the worst is when you're just sitting there waiting and watching. You're like, I'm being patient, and like I'm drinking. You're like, I'm not gonna jump in. I'm gonna jump in. It just keeps.
I got popcorn. I got Sprite. Like everything's here with me while I'm waiting.
It sounds like you're ready to party, man. What's going on?
That too.
He's coming over to the garage.
It wouldn't be Sprite if it was a party. It wouldn't be Sprite.
Yeah. Checking my other monitor here. So basically, I did want to point something out.
Where is that monitor on the ceiling?
Yeah, it's right. Well, I have 3 in front of me, and I got 1 up here.
Yeah.
Multitasking. Come on, man. So I did want to point something out on the Discord. This was on May 9th. So this was on this past Tuesday. Okay. I alerted 2 spreads here. We got the Apple call credit spread. I was bearish, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. It was a 5-wide spread expiring June 16th. Collected $110 in credit, basically $1.10. $110. So looking for 22% return. We did have inflation data this week, so I did annotate to everyone on the Discord this was high risk. Only opened up 1 spread, but collected over $100. Then we did the PG call spread, and I'll explain this in a second too. This was a $2.50 spread. Collected 35 credit on there, looking for 14% return. This was only a 3-day hold. You can see the expiration date was today. I actually took 65% on this spread yesterday, I think. So let me just scroll down here. This is 5/10. So this was 2 days ago. We had 65% on May 10th. So the very next day, we had 65% of the premium. Went ahead and pocketed that, put it in my pocket, not trying to give it back to the market. So that was a beautiful trade. Apple ended up being a 4-day trade. I was in it for 4 days, opened it up on Tuesday, just closed it out today for 21%. Now, a couple of reasons why I entered these trades. Number one, the Apple call credit spread. Now, I know it has the words call in there, so some people that aren't familiar with spreads think it's bullish, but a call credit spread where we're collecting a credit actually is a bearish strategy, okay? And the reason why I did it specifically was this resistance here at 175.35. This was August of 2022. Significant resistance. Apple really fell off a cliff when we hit that level. Almost like there was a bunch of sellers up there waiting, right? We had a bunch of selling, and of course, short sellers might have been up there waiting as well. So we came up to this level this week. Now, this is after Apple did their earnings, and there was a gap up, okay? And this was on May 5th, May 4th to May 5th. So this was the end of last week. I recognized the gap up. I was basically waiting for some weakness. And when I opened the spread on May 9th, that's because this red candle popped out. And as soon as the price action basically went below the body of this previous candle, and with some other indicators that I use, it's kind of a green light for me to go ahead and enter the call credit spread. It did go against us a little bit, but due to theta decay, and we had a beautiful red day today. I know there's a big lower wick on the candle from today, but earlier today, the price was actually down here, okay, at the bottom of this wick. And when that happened, and we can kind of zoom in intraday, Apple basically went from 174 right here.
Damn, look at Home Depot.
Yeah, I'll look at it in a second. But Apple went from 174 to 171. Beautiful $3 move to the downside. We had an open call credit, bearish call credit spread. And what ultimately happened is I ended up just taking the profit off the table, as I explained to the Discord members here. Basically going to take profit on this Apple call credit spread, close this out. We got a beautiful move on Apple down to 171. I'll capitalize on this and move on to the next trade. Okay, so don't be getting married to these trades, you guys. I think that's how a lot of people get themselves into trouble, is they open up a trade and they marry it, and everything they got is like going into that trade. You got to be able to take the profit when the market gives it to us, and then we move on to the next trade. Okay. So that was the kind of my thesis behind the Apple trade, was because on the daily chart, we had this significant resistance at 175.35. I even gave myself a little cushion by selling the 180. That was my short strike. So I even had a little bit room to work with if I needed it. But as long as Apple stayed below the 175, I was in the clear, and it never did, breach that. So no emotions involved, not sweating the play. And we took a good chunk of the premium today. The PG trade, just kind of explain this here.
I looked at that one too, bro. It came down to the level.
That was awesome.
I kind of drew it out for everyone here. I actually drew this out before I alerted the play. But Procter & Gamble had a pretty substantial gap up back here, comparatively speaking to the previous price action. So it gapped up, and it had just been trading sideways for like a week. I was like, what's going on here? Okay, we got a little range going here. It's basically 154 to 158, okay, give or take a couple cents, but 154 to 158. And my plan was, as soon as one of these levels got breached, I was going to open up a spread. If it breached the upside, we were going to do a put credit spread. Ultimately, it breached the downside on this day. We had already we entered the spread on this day. The very next day, sold off. I know this is a green candle, but obviously the price action came down here to 152.44. And the beautiful thing was the spread only had 3 days of time on it. So what happened there, Lee? The theta decay just ate it up like overnight. And I opened up this spread, and the very next day, so this was at 10:08 a.m. I alerted it at 12:43 p.m. So almost 24-hour hold, and bam, 65% of the premium sitting on the table, staring me in the face, saying,
"Oh wow, it's staring us in the face right now too."
Yeah, it's staring me at the face, saying, "Swing a bull. You need to reach out and grab this money and put it in your pocket before Mr. Market takes it from you." So that's what I did. We alerted the members, saying I was going to close this out, took some profit. Quite a few people took the play, as you can see from the emojis, and it was a beautiful thing. So it's about 3:45 p.m., but I definitely just wanted to kind of explain my theories about why sometimes we take these trades. And you guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is only 2 plays out of tons of plays that are being alerted in premium all the time in our Discord. So
hey, take a look at 2 things that I'm keeping an eye on: Home Depot and Lowe's. Obviously, Home Depot, because I
about yin and yang. What about those 2?
But
yeah, Home Depot's making a move here.
They just had a really nice push last like 15 minutes.
See if any news came out.
And their earnings is on the 16th, and Lowe's is as well. I'm bearish for both of those, but this is some interesting movement they have right now.
Yeah. They just did make a good move and pumped quite a bit from this candle here. I mean, 288 to 291 basically. On almost a $300 stock. That's a good move there, especially in the options world, right? We only need a couple dollars sometimes for the underlying to move. So not really seeing any breaking news on Home Depot. Could be an anticipatory run leading up to earnings.
Now,
let's see here.
If their earnings are on either the 15th or the 16th, I think Lowe's is on a similar, or it's definitely next week, but I don't remember what day. I'll be watching whichever one is first to kind of be an indicator for the other one, because they often trade in that similar channel.
True.
Just like Costco and Walmart or whatever, you know what I'm saying. So those are things I like to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, so Home Depot, let me just double check here, make sure I'm giving out right information. Yeah, Home Depot is going to be releasing earnings on Tuesday, May 16th. Okay, so next Tuesday, it's going to be before the opening bell. Okay, so and again, I'm not a financial advisor, but what I would do, if I had any current positions in Home Depot that I was green on, you might want to think about, what I would do is Monday before close, maybe taking some risk off the table, putting some of that profit into your pocket, reduce your exposure, because depending on the outcome of the earnings Tuesday before open, it could be detrimental to a position that's already green the day before. So that's what I would do. That would be the wise thing that I would do. Now, if you do like to play earnings plays, just be very careful, because we have seen companies that have beat revenue and beat EPS substantially, but they end up giving some sort of weak forward guidance, and then the stock sells off. So even though they smash earnings, bottom and top line, they give some bad guidance, and then investors just get spooked. We're kind of in that market where investors are getting spooked by this guidance, like more often than not. So just be careful there, and make sure you're on your P's and Q's on Monday. If you have
when I'm trading earnings, and I love me some earnings plays because I'm a degenerate gambler half the time. But what I like to do is I'll open a position, a week ahead of time, and then I'll just capture that IV as it gets closer to earnings. And then if I'm feeling froggy, I'll leave one or two overnight for the fun. But almost all of it I'm closing out ahead of time.
Leave a runner, right? Yeah, leave a runner. That's definitely okay to do, and nothing wrong with that, especially after you've already captured some profit. Because once you've like say you trimmed your position a certain percent, the profit you're taking on that trimmed part of the position reduces the cost basis on your remaining position. So you could even relax your stop loss a little bit more. Make sure to do the math to find out what your new cost basis is. So still protecting the downside risk management and all that.
You're so much more technical. You're like, let's do the math. And I go, this just makes me feel.
I'm a math guy. I've always been a math guy. That's kind of my strong point. That's just how I've always been.
We got 13 minutes left. What are your bold predictions for next week?
Next week, well, number one, let's see if we get
bold. I want to hear you just shake my ground, man. Bold.
First, I need to look at what kind of economic data is being released. So let me just see. Okay, next week, nothing is scheduled on Monday, which is good for anyone who trades neutral strategies like iron condors and that kind of thing. Usually, when there's no major economic data reports being released, sometimes it ends up being a sideways day. Great for neutral strategies. Tuesday, we got flash PMI, new home sales. Wednesday is just there is a Fed meeting, but it's the minutes meeting. Okay, so this meeting already occurred, and now they're going to release the results of that meeting. Usually it's about 3 weeks after the meeting. I think it's like 2-3 weeks after the meeting, Lee, something like that. And then they actually release the results, and that's going to be next Wednesday at 2. So that could be something to keep note, because it is a FOMC minutes meeting. It has been known to move markets in the past, not as drastic as an interest rate meeting. Okay, let's just make that clear. But just be on, have your eyes peeled for Wednesday at 2 p.m. We could see some movement there. And then we got GDP on Thursday, and then jobless claims. Okay. Jobless claims could be something. The Feds are really keeping their eye on the labor market. Some of the recent statistics is there's one available worker for every 2 jobs. So they're kind of trying to, they have their eye on the labor market to try and fix that issue. But basically,
bold prediction. Shake my boots.
My bold prediction is, let me go back to the SPY chart here so I can give you a technical analysis prediction. To be honest with you, if SPY can stay above 409 and we retrace back up to this basically 415 and break bullish, and maybe we do that on Monday, Tuesday, I'll probably be bullish for the rest of the week. If SPY on Monday, Tuesday cannot hold this 409, and me and Lee were talking about this earlier, I do have a strong feeling we're going to see 405, basically around that area. Okay, so that's kind of my predictions for the top side and the downside. There's 2 levels to keep note: 415 on the top, 409 on the bottom. A breach of either of those levels will help determine what bias I have, whether long or short. So that's what I got, Patrick.
All right, what about you, Lee?
What you got, Lee?
Everything he said. No, I let him do all the work, and then I just agree at the end. But no, I think the same thing. There's obviously a big supply zone around 405, right? And there's a big resistance area around 415, 416. So we are in this range that you were talking about, but I think it can get pretty nasty if we drop below that. Let me see where we were at the other day. If we drop below 409, What did you say, Paul? 409? I said 409.
409 on the downside. Yeah, if we breach that,
under
I think 405 is very much in the cards. Yeah,
409, below 409, we come down to test. Let me see. We test probably around 405 to 406. I think we definitely come down to test that if we don't hold that 409. Now, if we can finally get some, some strong volume and push above 415, then we're going to start testing 420 maybe next week.
That's what I think. Yep.
Those are my two predictions on the bull and bear side. I have both sides there. I'm actually looking. Prepared. Yeah, you got to be prepared, right? And I think that's a simple way to play it. We obviously know that there's some support here at 409-ish. And if we drop below that, it can get very nasty quickly, which we can make some money to the downside. So
I don't know if you guys see in the chat, I put the earnings calendar, and there's a couple of earnings that I'm really interested in.
Really?
Yeah, let me pull this into the recording so everyone can see it, especially if they watch the recording later.
Ooh, next week. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, beautiful earnings graphic that Prime Patrick just posted. This is very useful.
So last year for this quarter, we played Ross, Walmart and Target, because they were all trading in a very similar channel. And I think that between all of us, that we had like 2 or 3 1,000% plays in the matter of like 2 days. So I'm definitely keeping an eye on. Let's see.
We got Target on Wednesday.
First, so I'm going to keep an eye on Walmart. No, I'm sorry, Target's first. So I'm going to watch Target and then kind of play Walmart off of that. And then Ross is after hours on the day that Walmart is. So I'm bearish on all of them, but I'm going to kind of keep an eye on Target to kind of be the catalyst for me.
Yeah. Well, especially with all the inflation still being really high, I could definitely.
Oh, and I steal from that place all the time too. I shoplift. So I can't.
Well, I was just going to say, like, they're basically retail sector, and with inflation being so high, I do foresee, Target, Walmart, and Ross. They could have some issues with their revenue because people are protecting their money right now and not really spending as extravagantly as they would if inflation was lower per se. So I could definitely see a bearish thesis on the retail, but I think it might depend on their forward guidance. Again, we talked about that earlier, so that could just throw a curveball into everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. Man, SPY's pumping into the end of the day.
Yeah, let me go back to SPY.
We pushed through VWAP. A nice trend line, a clean trend line from that bottom that we reached, right? Because we pretty much triple bottomed off that 409 again today. So nice into the end of the day, but this also could shake up like previous days where we pumped into the end of the day, then dropped off at the beginning of the next day. So it's like you say, it's in the channel, right? That's what we're playing, in the channel. And if you can play the channel,
people are still pumping too.
Do it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go and keep on buying something tonight.
So it hasn't quite retraced 50% from the earlier day sell-off, but we're approaching a 50% retracement.
Well, you were so disciplined. I'm over here just being a degenerate. And you're like, shut up.
Yeah, no, it was all business, no play.
My Adderall's kicking in.
It's all money for me, fellas. It's all money for me.
Yeah, that's it. But that's a nice push at the end of the day. Finally,
it is.
Because there was nothing really telling us that it was bullish today.
Let's see. Yeah, RSI is super strong. We're above 70 on RSI, so lots of strength coming in right now, you guys.
And we're pushing. We are a lot of strength. Yeah, I like it.
Let's see here. 5-minute thicker swim. We got some bullish signals popping off at me right now. That was a strong push over that 410.70 lay on SPY, and then kind of look at the retest it did. Even on, you can see it on the 5-minute chart. See that wick came down and retested, and then popped right back off of it. That's beautiful. So on the downside, kind of shorter term levels, look for 410.70 as future support, you guys. In a shorter time frame, view. So, but it's about 3:55 p.m. here.
Patrick's over there. He's buying like his newest tool from HomeDepot.com.
Maybe.
I'm actually in 3D printing right now. So
3D printing.
Hell yeah!
That sounds
fun. I've been doing a bunch of stuff with it. So I actually printed some things from Milwaukee. It's been a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, you're trying to take their business, doing your own tool sets now.
Now, I'm adding this stuff to my pack outs.
Good stuff. Yeah, I into next week. I mean, most of the equity is pretty red today. I think the advances. Let's see the advances and the decliners. I think it was pretty rough out there, right? Where is it?
Yeah, I can pull advances. That up right
okay, so decliners. It says here 3,600.
There we go.
3,600. Advances 2,600. So
got pulled up on my screen right here. There was more decliners and advancers. Kind of lines up with those two indicators I was talking about earlier with the vol D and ADD. But as you can see, the advancer decliner indicators curling up quite nicely here. So definitely bullish into the end of the day, you guys.
That's ADD. You say that's
advancer decliner. ADD.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just some market internal stuff that can be useful. But yeah, I mean, overall heat map. I mean, obviously very bearish most part of the day, and then we got some tickers kind of turning green at the end of the day, right? And we had some like we pointed out on the sector information that utilities. Let me go back to the 1 day here. Utilities sector, I believe, was leading the pack. Well, second place for the day, and you can see right here, we had some utility companies like NEE. They're up over 2%. That's over a $77 stock there. So up over 2%, nice gain there on some of these utility companies. And, you could have checked out earlier in the day that utilities was kind of up here at the top of the pack, and maybe done some, maybe move some money to a utility company for a little bit, and then you can just take profit at the end of the day, something like that. That's where the sector information comes in handy. You kind of see what sectors are running. But almost 4 o'clock here. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up the stream. I know everyone wants to get ready, for their weekend and relax, spend time with family and friends.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day to the
Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, that's on Sunday. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Everyone loves you to death, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. I'm going to see my mom on Sunday. I'm going to help her. She said all she wants is for me to come to her house and help her out with some gardening. I said, hell yeah, I'll bring a 12-pack of
gardening's nice. Yeah. Gardening's nice.
Yeah. She wants me to spruce up her yard for her, so I said I'd do that.
Hopefully you don't have to bring in huge palm trees or anything, but that would be.
I'll see when I get there. She's been known to have some surprises for me. So we'll see.
If you want, I can drive by just to take a peek if you want, see if she has anything laying down for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the stream. Prime Patrick, thanks so much for coming in with us. And Mr. SLP, always a pleasure streaming with you. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. And remember to make some bread and protect your
Wait a second. That's what Duck says.
That's a PB logo or slogan.
Stay
blessed. Have a good weekend, y'all.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.